Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful short story by P. Satyavati. It all kicks off with one simple question, but believe me, it unravels into this huge, profound crisis. It's the story of a woman who tries so hard to be the perfect wife and mother that she ends up losing the one thing that's truly hers, her name. So let's see how this all goes down.
Right off the bat, the story makes us think about something we probably never even notice. Just for a second, think about your own family. How does your dad talk to your mom? Does he actually use her first name? It seems like such a tiny detail, but as we're about to find out, it can mean absolutely everything.
All right, so let's meet our main character. To really get what she losses, we first have to understand who she was before she got married. We're talking about a whole person here with a vibrant life and a really strong sense of who she was.
Yeah, she wasn't just one thing. She was a whole lot of things. The story shows us a woman who isn't just smart and educated, but she's also cultured, she's witty, she's capable. This is the person who walked into that marriage, a woman with real substance.
But then, after the wedding, things start to change, slowly but surely. She takes all of that intelligence, all that capability, and she just pours it into her new role. She's determined to become the perfect housewife. She completely throws herself into her new domain, the house. She scrubs, she cleans, she decorates, putting all of her energy into creating this perfect home. And her husband? He notices. He praises her for it, especially for her beautiful magulu. Those intricate designs made on the floor with rice flour. And with that little bit of praise, her new identity really starts to set in. His approval makes all this domestic work her chief mission. Her entire world just shrinks down to swabbing cloths and colorful powders for her floor designs. So her life just becomes this routine, day in and day out, until one totally normal afternoon, she's scrubbing the floor and a thought pops into her head that is anything but normal. It's a simple question, but it's about to completely shatter her world. That question just hits her like a ton of bricks. She literally jumps up, totally gripped by this sudden, chilling panic. How could you forget your own name? She realizes that in dedicating herself to being the perfect housewife, her own name is just vanished. Poof, gone from her mind. So she starts this frantic search, turning to literally everyone in her life hoping for an answer. But what she finds out is just terrifying. To everybody else, she isn't a person with a name. She's just a role that they need her to fill. First, she tries the maid, who is just completely confused by the question. To her, our protagonist is simply Amma, the mistress of the house. It's a title, right? Not a name. Okay, so next, she turns to her kids, hoping they'll know. But their answer is, well, it's even more heartbreaking. To them, she's only ever been Amma, mom. They even point out that all the mail comes in their dad's name. They've literally never heard her real one.
Finally, totally desperate, she asks her husband. And you know what he does? He just laughs it off. He calls her Ye Moi, which is kind of like saying, hey you, and suggests that Mrs. Murthy is good enough. He just completely fails to see her anguish. To him, it's just a silly problem, not this deep, terrifying identity crisis.
His super practical advice is to just go look at her old school certificates. So she does. She starts this frantic physical search, just tearing through her closet, desperate for any piece of paper that proves she used to be somebody. But what she finds just perfectly sums up her entire problem. There are no certificates. Nope. Instead, the shelves are just overflowing with the symbols of her current life. Saris, bangles, things for religious ceremonies. The evidence of who she is now has completely buried any proof of who she used to be. Okay, so she's tried everyone at home. She gets permission from her husband to go visit her parents, thinking for sure the certificates have to be there. But nothing. Her search is a dead end. And just as she's about to give up all hope, a chance encounter on the street changes absolutely everything.
She bumps into an old friend from her school days. Now, this friend is also a wife and a mother, but, and this is so important, she hasn't let those roles completely erase who she is. She remembers herself, and even better, she remembers who our protagonist used to be.
And there it is, the name. Her friend just shouts it out with so much joy and gives her a big hug. For the very first time in this whole story, we hear it, and so does she. Her name is Sarada. The way the story describes this moment, it's like a person dying of thirst, finally getting a drink of cool water. You see, her friend doesn't just give her back a name, she gives her back her entire identity. She reminds Sarada of everything she was: a top student, a prize-winning musician, a talented painter, a whole, complete, accomplished person.
Hearing her name, remembering her past, it just ignites this incredible change inside her. She is no longer just a nameless housewife. She is Sarada, and she is ready to take her life back.
So armed with this memory, she goes straight to her parents' attic, and she unearths the actual physical proof of her old life: her certificates, her paintings, her awards. She doesn't return home as a quiet housewife. No, she returns as Sarada, carrying the artifacts of her true self.
And this moment, oh, this moment, shows the shift perfectly. Her husband greets her and immediately starts complaining about how messy the house is. His focus is still 100% on her domestic role. But her entire perspective has changed. She snaps back that a clean floor doesn't make a festival, basically saying it doesn't create a happy home.
Then comes this final, powerful declaration. She looks her husband right in the eye and says, "My name is Sarada. Call me Sarada. Understood?" Wow. It's just this incredible moment where she forcefully takes back her individuality and sets brand new terms for her own life.
And the story ends with this really powerful image. Sarada, the woman who was once obsessed with cleaning, is sitting on a sofa that hasn't been dusted in 2 days. And she doesn't care. She's busy doing something way more important. She's showing her kids her album of paintings. She's showing them her true self.
And so we're left with this really big question. How does a person, especially a woman, actually define their identity? Is it through marriage, motherhood, a job? Sarada's journey seems to suggest that a true identity is something much deeper. Something you have to consciously remember, you have to protect, and sometimes you have to fight to reclaim it for yourself.